Hello. I am Lisa J. Stocks. Sorry about the delay. We were having some technical issues. And my co-host today is Marlene from Marlene Motivates. Hey, Marlene, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing, everybody? Thanks so much for being here.
Okay, so we were having some technical difficulties, but I hope you guys stay around, chat, enjoy the show. So today we're going to be talking about few different things, but just our personal thoughts and views on what's going on with the government shutdown, the SNAP benefits, all the stresses that people were having leading up to today, the first day of November. Just keeping on track with your investing and staying financially strong, even through these tough times and these headlines and everything that we are seeing and we are personally faced with. But yeah, we're bringing our own perspective, a mature female perspective on just how we're managing to juggle all these things that we have to deal with: life, family, finances, and so much time of uncertainty. So, Marlene, tell us a little bit about your channel. Remind everyone like where they should follow you, and let me
Okay.
know your thoughts on what we're going to chat about today.
Okay. Well, everybody, I'm Marlene Motivates. I am a life coach, motivational speaker. I have multiple channels here on YouTube, so you guys can follow me. Marlene Motivates, Life with Marlene, Love Marlene 411, Marlene Saunders Show. All of it is under my brand umbrella of Marlene. So, yeah, and I'm excited to talk about this topic with Lisa.
Okay. So, guys, I always have Marlene Motivates tagged in my description. So you can go there and follow Marlene from, we've been rotating. I've been visiting over on her channel from time to time. She's been coming over here with me. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, especially if you enjoy our collaborations together, because you don't just have to watch on my side, because I go and visit Marlene too. And so, Elevated, Joe, everyone that's tuning in so far, thank you for tuning in and chatting. It's a new month, so I might be gifting some memberships. If you have to have that turned on in your settings, so if you don't, please do that so that you're not always wondering, why don't I ever get any? You have to have that feature available. Um, so let's get started. Okay, so I thought that I had already evolved into um, the person that was doing enough, that had all of her bases covered after the last, I would say, little over 10 years. I've been evolving, I've been changing as far as my money mindset and my finances. And then even more so in the last 5 years with a pandemic and just some different things that just came about, and the housing prices, the interest rates. um, I just I thought, through that I changed more. The layoffs, everything. But I would say over the last few weeks, I'm like, I have to step it up. I have to do better. This whole situation of the government shutdown for so long, and just hearing about people so concerned about these SNAP benefits, it's just making me get further and further into where I was already at. That we have to be ready to, as much as possible, be ready to rely on ourselves and take care of ourselves financially. And I think it's really like putting a scare and a stress into me. Don't want to see my credit get ruined. I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be in the place where I have to wonder and decide, am I going to pay the utilities, the car insurance, my medical bills, because, of any interruption. that's just making me just so thin with my finances. So what is these recent headlines? Have they done anything to your mindset, Marlene?
It has, Lisa, it has really caused me to be a little anxious, because it's not that I was in the position where I was dependent on it, but none of us know when we could maybe be in that situation where we may have to depend on some government aid, or we may need some support. And it made me really think, like, where am I not, pulling things together? Like, where are some of the holes that I have in my budget, or where have I not been stepping up my game when it comes to my portfolio, and what do I need to be doing more? And I understand that there are a lot of people that, maybe they're not in a position like, yourself and me, and that they can do what we do. But at the same time, we all could tighten up a little bit on how we're spending and not wasting, because things are getting really, really tough out there. So we have to just make sure that we're doing what we need to do as far as our immediate family.
Mhm. So I pulled some stats just because I wanted to just touch on this because I think we all kind of none of us we don't know what it is every big city across the US. We just know what we see in our local town, our local supermarket, and I think people need to like open their minds a little bit to not not have a stigma, not have a not be fixated on it's a young single mother that had however many children and put themselves in this situation and they shouldn't be dependent and thinking it's a certain race, a certain ethnicity. So I just wanted to touch on this that 40 million Americans rely on the SNAP benefits. And oh, let me touch on this first. I'm sorry, I get all over the place sometimes. But yesterday, some on October 31st, yesterday, two federal judges ordered the Trump administration to use emergency contingency funds in order to help to continue providing food. And hopefully that it gets in place and no one is actually hugely impacted by this by like there's no money on their food card for the month of November because that's the way things were looking. But the demographic of people that are relying on it is 40 million Americans, and the average household receives about $332. And, it's a diverse amount of people that are receiving the benefits. About 25% categorized as like Black American, 23% Hispanic, 4% Asian, and then, a mix of other racial backgrounds. But 39% are children under the age of 18, 20% are seniors over 60 years old. And then within those households, 10% are households where the adult has a disability. So you might think who's taking advantage or who needs to use these services, but we don't know the whole, everyone across the whole state. We don't know everyone's circumstances. And we just need to be ready to lend a helping hand and hopefully, like I said, strive to keep ourselves from ever falling into these positions where we have to be reliant on government aid. So I don't know what if you're where you live, Marlene, is it very like ethnically diverse?
No, my community is mainly I am the areas that are affected, because the area that I live in an area where there's a lot of immigrants. So there are a lot of people that I know for sure that are on government assistance. Some of it is because, after, moving to a new country, it takes a little while for you to get your footing and to, decide what you're going to do and the jobs and all those things. But also, it's a lot of people who are older, like you said, over the age of 60. And also, there's many people who are on disability or have some mental, things going on that they are
Mhm.
dependent on that income. So, like you said, we think that we know who it's geared towards, but we really don't know.
Yeah, we don't. And a lot of the families, another thing is, see if I have it in my so it says 79% of SNAP households include a child, senior, or disabled member, and they received 83% of the benefits. So we have to know, like we know the sandwich generation of, having your parents living with you or elderly family members, and even our children. Not all of our children, some of our children have special needs, and they're not going to ever be able to take care of themselves and work and do certain things. So there's just so many different types of households out there. And it was just such a sad situation just to think about the stresses. And I don't think that it should be, you just receive aid and you don't have to work. But this situation of having to work 15 hours, which is not much, it's a little crackling sound going on. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I'll mute myself.
Okay. I don't know. We'll see if that helps anything. Um, I'm not sure what I was saying. Uh, I don't remember what I was saying. Do you remember what I was saying?
Yeah, you are saying about the people who are receiving benefits, the elderly.
Oh, the 15 hours a week that
Yeah,
you have to work going forward in order to continue to receive your benefits. And yeah, that's really nothing. When I'm working my full time and then say 8 hours for the full time, 3 hours for my part time, and then my, commuting time, a little break that I might take during the day. I worked that in one day. Like, 15 hours for a week. I really nearly get that in one day when I do both of my jobs. So I wouldn't know what it would be to work 15, 20, 24 hours a week. I never had that type of schedule. Um, but at the same time, just seeing the amount of layoffs from UPS, from Amazon, and it's not just factory workers or certain. It's middle management. It's a mix, and so we just see so much what's going on with AI and these companies. I mean, Amazon stock is thriving. I mean, but at the same time, that's their job, is to increase shareholders' wealth. But the employees, my heart goes out to them because it's a struggle to find another role at this time. I see that. And then to think tens of thousands of people getting laid off, how are we ever going to replace those positions? That amount of people displaced. So what have been your thoughts with these huge headlines? I don't know if you have any others that you want to share, but UPS and Amazon is definitely two that I've been seeing this week in the headlines.
yeah. I keep seeing that well, in my area, there was a grocery store that closed down, a chain, the
Mhm.
Walmart neighborhood stores. So I guess they're going to take the people who are in the neighborhood stores, and some jobs are going to go to the regular super center, but there's going to be some that's just going to be out of work. And that's, think about in one store how much people work in one store, and they have four that's going to be closing down in my area. So that's a lot of jobs that people who are be going to be out, especially during towards the end of this year and the holiday season.
So with these places shutting down, is that going to lead to people having to travel further to
Yeah,
supermarkets? It is. Okay.
they're going to have to travel farther.
Yeah, I'm still hearing those sounds. I don't know what's going on today. I wonder if it's on my end or what. How is the sound? How, guys in the chat, can you let me know how's the audio? Is it clear or is it very scratchy?
I feel like when I am on, I hear the crackling. So I don't know if it's on my side because I'm on my phone. So
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's just keep it going. It's not terrible, but no one's saying anything about it. I wonder if it's still, yeah, we should be still going. Okay. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the chat. I'm going to take a quick station break. Thank you for Rod for being a channel member and sharing this note. And I appreciate you. Drop those members emojis in the chat. Let's see. I could have easily fallen into that situation in 2023 when I was laid off. Thank goodness I started preparing for a rainy day when I did, because it was a tropical rainstorm. Okay, I guess that means there was no hopes of finding any employment to replace that particular job anytime soon. Oh, I guess Joe was trying to keep me on track with my getting my thoughts back. Uh-oh, I lost Marlene. Okay, we'll have to be on the lookout for her to pop back in the studio. But guys, if you're not already subscribed, like, hit that notification bell. Feel free to ask any questions, drop any comments. I'm going to be taking some breaks to go over the chat again. But let's see. The crackling is not that disruptive. Okay. 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 So here's Marlene. Trying to come back. Marlene, can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
I got kicked. I got kicked from the stream.
Yes, I figured. You disappeared there. They said they can hear the sounds a little bit. Well, Dr. Ninja gave us an update. They can hear it a little bit, but it's not that bad. All right.
Okay.
So, do you have anything else that you want to share on my beginning topic of the day before I move on?
Yeah, I just want to add to it. Like you were saying, it's not just people who we think, well, I'm not going to try to sound judgmental or anything, but sometimes people will think people who are on these benefits of EBT, SNAP, and all of these other benefits, we think, oh, they're lazy, but it can happen to anybody. Anybody you can, the company can downsize or shut down, or something can happen to you. You get sick. It's a lot of various things that can happen. So, like they were saying about working 15 hours a week, there are some that cannot do that.
Mhm.
So, what will happen to those individuals? I think that's kind of the thought on my mind right now. Yes, there are many that they need to work and they can work, but there are some that can't. What is going to happen to those individuals? That's where my thoughts are residing.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. Um, but hopefully, like I said, the courts have intervened, and those emergency funds, I hope that they can cover people until this government shutdown is officially over and all the budgets are in place and things are back on track. But in addition to that, these changes with the employment and those, people have to get on track with that part too in order to continue receiving the benefits. So I just hope it works out. And with the holidays coming, there's always those stresses that there can be increased theft and things like that, because people are so stressed and desperate, I'll say. So now let's move on to saving and investing, which can help us to hopefully not put ourselves in these situations where we keep us self-sufficient, shall I say. And so I just want to touch on making sure that you don't think it's too small of amount of money to save or invest. If you need to start small, just start there. What are your thoughts on that, Marlene, as far as investing small amounts or saving small amounts?
Yeah, I think that's something that held me back for a little while when I first was like working a job, and I guess you could kind of say it was like on the low end of income. And I always thought that it had to be a specific number in order for me to be able to, you know, get to where I wanted to go. And I had to learn to get over that part and to just whatever I have, then you use it. You know, you go for it because, like they always say, something is better than nothing, and you cannot get to your ultimate goal if you don't do anything. So, you know, start small, and then you can, you know, add to it as your circumstances change. But you
Mhm.
should, you should, you should do your best.
And share with the right people. I was listening to something earlier and it said like pigeons don't fly with eagles. And so I think I might say this in every show that I do with you. It's like if I needed certain encouragement, if I wanted to have a certain type of conversation, there are things that you are gonna, pop into my mind as a go-to person, even if it's just to watch your live, just to hear your encouragement, because you want to go to someone that has a similar mindset that's gonna be able to give some encouragement. And there are some people out here that might say it's silly. It's silly. You're gonna start saving $5. You're gonna start investing $10, but they don't consistency is what can really change things. You stick with your $10 all year long. You stick with that $5 until you can put it up to 10 and put it up to 15. But you started, just like Marlene was saying, something is better than nothing. And that's the way I go about my saving and investing and my strategies. And if I don't feel like there's someone that's going to be on board with what I'm doing, I'm not going to share with that person because it really their opinion, if it's discouraging, it's really not going to matter. What matters is that I'm on track. I'm making strides. I'm making goals. They may not feel like I'm making strides with the amount of money that I'm able to allocate to these different things, but I know that I am. And so, hey, KG, thank you for chatting and checking in on the live. Appreciate that. And so, yes. And I wanted to talk about how do you do this? How do you go about um, staying on track with your investing? And I would say one thing that can make it easy is to work on that budget and then automate even a small transfer weekly, monthly, and just take it out of your hands. I think we've talked about this before where you said that you have your deposits going to multiple different places, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So guys, there are so many features out here that are available to help you, whether it's related to savings or investing. My daughter, I think it's Ally Bank. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It's a bank that I don't have, but my daughter's Fidelity Youth app, her amount that's in her savings that's linked to her debit card, automatically she can make it into 5 different buckets, name them, and then when she uses her debit card, it only comes out of one particular bucket. It won't go to the other 4 unless that one is depleted. So she's able to be building up. Okay, this is going to get invested. This is going to remain in long-term savings. This is for entertainment. This one is for, I don't know, concerts and stuff. I asked her if I could share a picture of her budget. So I might do that tomorrow. But yeah, there's just so many different things. There's low costs when it comes to investing. There is fractional shares. There are low cost diversified funds that you can invest into. And Fidelity is $1. Webull is $1. Many other platforms start at $5. So don't let anyone tell you that you can't get started with saving and investing. I have saved I have made deposits, very small deposits when it comes to both, and you can get started. There aren't limitations to it. You don't have to wait and wait and wait and let time pass. There's no reason for it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And so let's see what's going on in the chat for a second. Uh, oh, Rod is sharing that he watched Keenan's video and he went heavy on Hood. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's see the updates.
Yeah, I just want to say something, Lisa. They, when I was growing up, my dad used to always say the only limitation that we have is the one that's in our mind. And when you don't limit yourself, then, sky is the limit. It's all up to you, but we're the ones that have to say, I give myself the permission to do this. I can do it. And I think that's half the battle, honestly. You thinking that I can do it, I can save, I can invest, I can have a different lifestyle than what I have now. But it has to be for us shifting our mindset.
Yeah, I'm always encouraging wherever you have to start. Everyone is going to have a different starting place. So do your best to just get to, if you don't have $1,000, I want to see you get to $1,000 in your savings account. If that is what, if that's more than your paycheck or less than your paycheck, you can use that as your first milestone. Have one paycheck put away so that you no longer have to say that you are living paycheck to paycheck. Just whatever it is, set a goal for yourself. And if things are tight, do as much as you can to work towards that goal until you have achieved it. And once it's done, it's done, and no one can take that from you. And like I said, if you have discouraging people around you, or people that once they know, oh, you got that account built up to XYZ, they want to go and spend, then don't share. Don't share. Share with me, because I surely will be like, keep on going, keep on going, keep on building. Um, but it's just so many different things that I had on my mind, but I'm so glad that I'm not letting these things hinder me from investing and just getting on board with what I think is needed. Going back to how we started off the show with being able to take care of ourselves for the long term. But I'm sad that I am with Vanguard, and Vanguard does not allow fractional shares on non-Vanguard ETFs, only its own ETFs and mutual funds. Yes, I've read that. I've ne- the my I Fidelity is very flexible on all of those things. There's no limitations on like I've seen at other places like Vanguard and Schwab, where certain funds you have to have $2,500. 25, yeah, like about $2,500 to get started with investing. There's no fractional shares thing. There's really Fidelity really checks the boxes in all of those. The S packs, where your cash would be sitting, it's I think still a higher rate APY than my high interest savings account. And so it's really been working well for me. And I wind up really getting an experience with using Fidelity, because I worked at two companies back to back. That was the brokerage company that they used. And so it gave me, unexpectedly, it wasn't by choice, but that's where my 401ks were back to back. And so that's where my experience and exposure to them began. And once it did, I moved money from other places to Fidelity, because I felt like it was the right place for me. And I even have one in the next town over that I can physically go to when I need to. What is your preference on the big brokerage company? If you don't mind sharing, Marlene.
Sure. I prefer Fidelity.
Okay.
Um, There's Schwab. I started with Schwab when I was younger as a teen because that's what my parents did, but I found that it was not meeting my financial goals like Fidelity does. So I have now removed all of my things from my portfolio from Schwab, and I have just about everything in Fidelity. I have a little bit in some Vanguard, but for the most part, I'm a Fidelity person.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had a good experience, and, I've done, research. I've never had an account at any of the of those other big brokerages. Actually, I moved money from Empowerment and another smaller company. But yeah, good experience there for myself and for my daughter. Um, so Dr. Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle, if you're able to, I don't know what the circumstances are that have you using Vanguard, but I know you're retired. If you have the flexibility and want to transfer over to Fidelity, you'll have more flexibility with being able to do that. I see now why you were questioning how I was buying fractional shares of my different ETFs, so many different things in my portfolio, because you're not able to do that. Okay. Okay. So guys, make sure to give the lives a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am Lisa J. Stocks, and today my co-host is Marlene from Marlene Motivates. So you can find her channel in the description of this live. And I don't know if she's still here, but I want to take a quick second to wish Nora a happy birthday. Okay, back to the show. So rising costs. What are your thoughts? What has been one of the biggest costs that have been rising when it comes to your budget, Marlene? Is it groceries, utilities, healthcare? Where's the pressure in on your budget?
Well, I on my end, I live in Florida, and I feel like the power company has lost their mind because it's not like $5 or $10, Lisa. I'm talking about I've had an increase in 1 month of over $50. So, and I'm like, what's going on? Because I look at the utility, and it's the same. It's the same because,
Mhm.
I have my thermostat set on a certain amount. Like, it's the same. Why is it more expensive? Yeah, it just went up $50. It's like, okay, wow, that's a lot. So that's my biggest is the utility, followed by insurance. That has gone up right behind my utilities.
Car insurance or medical insurance?
A medical.
Medical, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I have been hearing that too. Yeah, these medical costs. And yeah, just like these companies, they're laying off people. They're not thinking about giving extra to help ease their medical costs, of course. But yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I'm asking you the question of where is the pressure, but it's across the board for me. It's the groceries, it's the car insurance, it's the electricity. My electricity went up 14%. I don't I it might I need to check the bill again. I'm not sure if there has been any improvement, if they were able to negotiate and bring that down at all, but it's all rough. It's all rough. And so I have to always be mindful to know to evaluate the wants and needs and be willing to tighten up my budget because I'm not just getting started out with my budget. My budget just gets busted because the things are increasing so much. And so I have to just do my best to be ready to find a way to stay afloat. Um, but prices rise, we have to adjust. We have to, cook at home, maybe start working out at home, doing everything that we can, being mindful of the budget. My mother was just saying to me yesterday, she's like, when you see certain things on sale, at least just buy 3 or 4 of them, and I was like, Mom, I know. You've taught me already. I learned from watching you. And so I've really been trying to do that. And sometimes that is another kind of pressure on the budget when you see some things on sale and you want to buy more of it. But I try to work to to do that, even if it does throw me a little off track, because I have to think about the big picture of I'm saving money now so that I don't have to come back when I know this is going to be a higher price.
Mhm.
So, do you do any of that? Do you do any
Yeah.
bulk shopping? Do you buy the meat? Do you even eat meat?
Yes, I do eat meat, and this may sound strange to some people, but my whole life growing up, we always bought our meat from a meat shop. So they have like the package price, like you get your pork, your beef, your this, whatever it is that you need, but you buy it at a box rate instead of going in the store and buying individual. So that way, I've been saving over 70% all the time on my meat just because I buy it in bulk and I'll take it home, wash it, freeze it, and then all I have to do is defrost it and cook it. So I
Wow.
save my money that way by buying my meat from the meat shop. So it's just one thing, but I've known that my whole life because that's what my mom did. Coming from a big family, you can't go in the store and buy meat for a family of 12 buying one package at a time. You're gonna have to get that bulk rate. So I've just always been doing what I was raised to do.
Mhm, mhm. I definitely try to take those little shortcuts. Um, Even buying like a whole pork tenderloin as opposed to buying the chops already. Obviously, it's more labor intensive, some of the cuts or the purchases that I make, but at the same time, I have to just suck it up and say, "Hey, I'm doing this for the cost efficiency, the cost savings." So yeah, I get the freezer bags and I come up with the plan and I package it in a certain way. And so I'll be asking my family, like, how many do you think you're gonna, just in case I'm not here, I don't want anyone to take too much out. And so I'm trying to package it and make a plan on everything so that, everything gets used. So, electricity in Dallas is ridiculous. I'm loading up on the hoodies for the winter, $600 a month average for electric bill during the winter for me. Okay, okay. Is that at your new place? I know you recently moved, Rod. That's a lot. That's a lot. $600 in 1 month. I have oil heat. As well as gas. I have gas for, like, my stove and my water heater, and my dryer is gas, but my heat is oil, and then I also obviously have electric. So all those utilities together, at least my electric and my oil together do not come to $600, so that's a lot. That is a
Yeah,
lot.
mine is around 400.
Wow. Is that the pricing for the house, a big house, Rod? I know, I think you downsized a bit, but that sounds very expensive.
Very expensive.
So what else is on your mind today, Marlene, as far as those bills and the prices and anything that you've seen in the news lately?
Well, I was just thinking about, those individuals that are older, your parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, those who are retired, like how are they able to handle this cost of living increases? I don't think anybody can prepare for what's happening. And I've had to, as a family, we've had to go and help like my aunts and cousins and those who are older in the family because they're doing all that they can to budget and save, but it's just some things they can't do. So I feel like for our family, we've had to pitch in and help the ones that can't do it because we don't they don't want to go on government assistance.
Hmm.
Mhm. That's the
Well,
biggest thing on my mind right now is what about the times when we're not going to be able to help them? What's going to happen now?
mhm,
That's my worry.
yeah. I think that people need to know, like, find a balance with that. I know, like my mom, she worked at the same company for nearly 30 years before getting laid off from that particular company. I actually worked at that same company too for many years. Me, my aunt, and my mom. My ending with the company also ended from layoff. But I would tell her after the layoff, I told her, "You just finished working nearly 30 years straight. Don't feel badly about collecting unemployment. You're looking, you're trying, and so that's what I mean by, finding a balance and knowing, you've paid into this, when my day comes to take Social Security, I we've been paying decade after decade into it, so, we're entitled to it. But sometimes there's other interruptions that may happen, where you may need some type of assistance, because I've been working, it's mostly just been I went on short-term disability or I had to even go into long-term for it and then transition back to just my regular job. But sometimes the circumstances are not going to be like that. But um, you have to know, especially if you have been working here in this country for so many years under this government and all that they charge us when it comes to taxes, just make sure that you're, taking care of yourself and not not being hindered, not being cold in the winter or something like that. If there is a potential for you to get assistance. Um, Thank you, Rod, for that super chat. I appreciate the support and being a channel sponsor today, as well as a channel member. Thank you. Okay. So, guys, let me know if you have any questions, comments on what we've been sharing today. Let's see what Rod and Fast Eddie are talking about. Eddie saying it's time for some new installation, some new windows, some new doors. So, yes. So, Rod is saying that was my house, the 4-bedroom house. Yeah. But now that you downsize, hopefully there will be no more $600 heating bills. 4,000 square foot home. I think the insulation played a part. Yeah. I think my home was built in the 50s. And when in the 50s, the utilities weren't what they are today. So I can't say that my house is very energy efficient. It would need a lot more updating and upgrading in order to help in those departments of the utility bills of today.
Yep. I'm right behind you, Lisa. My house is from the 60s.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm telling my daughter, you got to make sure, like, it's already getting cool in our area. So, like, close the closet door, because if there's any bit of a draft or anything, close the closet door. Close your curtains, not just the mini blinds. We got to just try to do everything that you can in order to keep yourself from wanting to turn up that thermostat. And put on an extra comforter, put on a sweatshirt, something.
You know what, Lisa? I have found that I don't know what it is about younger people. It's like they don't want to put on they don't want to put on a sweater. They just want to go over to the thermostat and turn. And I'm like, no, put on a sweater. Put some socks. My niece said my feet are cold. Put on some socks. It's like don't turn. No.
Put on some socks. If you're watching a show, put a blanket on you too. So, were any of the little ones, do you guys allow any partying or dressing up or anything in your household, Marlene?
Well, I was so busy working, Lisa, that I wasn't involved in that. But I know that my great nephew. He was
Uh-huh.
a count. So
He was a count?
yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
yeah, like the count from Sesame Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my daughter, she didn't dress up, but she had a friend over, last night. We had a bad rainstorm the night before last, because I was gonna offer to them if they wanted to, go in the backyard with the fire pit or something, which I probably would have to go out there and make sure everything was okay, because I don't know if her friend not everyone is used to, having a fireplace or a fire pit, and I would probably go out there and supervise a little bit and make sure everything but yeah, I figured it was still too damp, so I didn't suggest that yesterday. But still, I think they had a nice time just hanging out.
That's
So, Fast Eddie is saying, "I have 2 AC units and 2 heating units. I had to replace one of the AC units, and that was $4,000. They told me for another 3,500." I said, "Wait." Yeah, some of those expenses are very, steep. Those are the type of expenses I don't want people looking at their 401k to handle. I think those are the type of things that, yeah, when you run into it and that's the largest sum of money that you have, you're like, "Oh, let me just take a loan from it or just take the penalty and draw from it." But thankfully, I've been able to avoid those situations.
Where my heart is right now, Lisa, is my family comes from Jamaica, so my cousins and aunties were directly impacted from the hurricane that just happened. It was a direct hit to St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. I don't know if you
Hmm.
saw that on the news, but that's where my family lives. So that's going to impact my family financially because we have to send money home to help them to rebuild their house.
Okay, okay, I'm really sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
I had someone I hold all of my comments. I release them as they come in. I had someone make a very disgusting comment about, my Hussein Bolt repost that I posted on my community wall concerning the hurricane. I can't believe how I don't even I'm not gonna repeat what the person said. I'm still just dumbfounded that anyone could have something so horrible to say about that situation.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I was just in contact with someone earlier today, concerning something, um, in Jamaica, and they said they hope to get things situated by December 1st, which is 1 month away. I don't see it getting turned around that quickly. Um,
I don't either.
I talked
Y-
to my
like
hmm?
it sometimes when the hurricanes happen, sometimes it's 2 years later and they still haven't got themselves all the way together. So I think it's going to take a little while.
Yes, yes. As of when I talked to my mom last, which was probably yesterday morning, she had not heard from, my aunt, which is basically the closest family member that we have there right now. It's my grandma's sister. And it's just her and her elderly husband who has dementia, and she is like the full-time caregiver for him, so I hope that they got to safety, and I know it's a hard situation for her to, probably be in close quarters if she is with someone else, with her husband's, issues, so much going on. So, Nora, were you here when we
Sorry.
gave you your Nora, were you here when we gave you your birthday shout out? Have you been in and out of the chat? So, yes, everyone is putting in the chat prayers for everyone in Jamaica, yes.
I'm so sorry about your aunt.
Well, we haven't heard from her. I'm assuming everything is fine.
Okay.
But with the electricity and the lack of internet, you know, it would have been good to know ahead of time what her intentions were, what her plans were of who she was going to be with. Maybe then it wouldn't be the place that, we're in, of wondering, did she leave? Did she stay? Is someone else there with her? Um, I don't know. I didn't know the background as to what her plans were.
Well, in our family, we have like this chain line because I have family in different places in Jamaica. So,
Mhm.
like they'll send message from one city to the next, and then I'll hear from one of them. Because like one of them works at a grocery store, so certain places that has um, power, and then
Mhm.
they're able to send like a fax or things like that. So we've talked about those things like if power goes down in your house, how else can you get a message? So, um, go to your local grocery store or somewhere else that they're able to send a fax. I know it's old school, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, send us a fax.
So if you happen to know of, a reputable agency or church or a way to donate, would you share that with me?
Yes, I would.
Because I know you're probably just gonna go direct to your relatives, but if there is any other way,
Yeah,
do
I when the next time I talk to my cousin,
that.
either on WhatsApp or something, I'll ask her because I like for it to go directly to the community and not so much through the source agencies, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I know that's always the fear, is it truly gonna get to those that need it the most? So, that's why I was asking if you do know of anything or come across anything, if you would share.
I sure will.
Um, okay. So, some people don't realize how difficult it can be. Yes. Yes. And, yeah, I'm sad to hear that it was really where the, most of the devastation is where, your family is at. But, yeah, people are just so, and the person made it, and was the person that made the comment, they were directing it towards Jamaican people. And I'm like, after the hurricane hit Jamaica, it went on to hit Cuba. So do you feel the same way about the you know
Yeah.
but yeah, I shouldn't have even given that any energy, but
Yeah,
I
but
have to read I have to read everything that comes in, so the all of it, yeah, it gets to me.
yeah, but it's one of those things as being a content creator. I think a lot of individuals they get into the keyboard wars, right, with us to say things because some people just want a response, but we have to, know what it is worth a response and what are the things to just delete it. It's not even worth our energy, but it is upsetting. We do
Mhm,
have feelings.
mhm. Okay, so let's get it back to stock talk. So, guys, what are your intentions? Do you keep to the same plan every week with your saving and investing, or is it just a constant changing thing with your strategy? I actually shared a video this week, something that I don't usually do. I usually post it. Lately, I have been in the Discord as well as like to my channel members. I posted my daily investments of the day, and on this particular day, I did my standard things right now, which are like $10 into VTI, $10 into Nvidia. I'm doing those right now daily. And then I did, and this is outside of my retirement account. These are extras that I do, guys. That's not all of the investing that I do in order to build what I've accomplished. But I like to have extra investments. I have other goals other than retirement. I like to build up money to take care of Lisa today and older Lisa at age 70. However, whatever condition I'm in at 60, 70, 80. But, and I think I have, also in my video, I bought 0.01 shares of SPMO on this particular day. I did $22 of SPLG, and I did one other investment. I think it was Meta. Meta was very low priced on that particular day. So I decided to do a fractional share into Meta. So altogether, my investment, I think my Meta investment might have been the largest because Meta is a little bit more of an expensive stock. Let's see. Meta is $648 a share. So when I say, and then let me give you for example. So when I say I bought 0.1 or a tenth of a share of the, so it's all going to depend on the share price, how much that is. So you can invest by dollar amount, you can invest by share size, however you want to go about building up your portfolio. But that's something that I shared in a video this week, just to make sure to highlight that you really can build on those two positions, with small amounts. And so when it comes to my NVIDIA challenge that I've been doing over these, I think I'm about 9 weeks in, I've been able to add 2.2 shares of NVIDIA to my portfolio, which may not sound like much, but going back to what you said at the start of the show, something's better than nothing. How many shares of NVIDIA does the person that might be criticizing me for being, going $10 at a time at it have? So I'm not in a race with anyone. I'm just trying to do better than I did yesterday and just keep it going that way.
Lisa, I wanted to congratulate you on, when I watch your videos, I'm always so in awe about how well that you invest and how you articulate it so well. And you talking about how you go into fractional shares has really helped me to step up my game because I used to always be the person that felt like I had to buy the whole the whole stuff. And I was always like, I have to save up for that. I have to save up for that. And you talking about fractional shares has really helped me to say, Marlene, relax. You can't do that right now. And that's okay. But do your best, do something instead of just, not doing anything at all. So
Yeah,
I want to thank you for that.
and my $10 a day into VTI, I started that back in 2022. Before I had a YouTube channel, before I even knew that I would ever be sharing anything about my personal finances with the world or my 7,000 almost channel members at least. Our subscribers. I wish I had 7,000 channel members. But I'm just saying that to say that once you stay consistent, I'm not telling you it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to put $10 and it's going to, just magically turn into 1,000. You stay consistent. You find an investment that you are comfortable with, that builds steadily, that recovers if there is a dip. And VCI is definitely one of those. It's the total US stock market. It's not an individual stock. There are many individual stocks that I could have done the same with, and I would not have had any problem for the long term, like Google, Amazon, Apple, for example, definitely NVIDIA. But yeah, from I think around September 2022 to now September 2025, if you would have committed to doing $5 on a regular basis, 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever you have, but I'm talking about every single week, not ever letting a week, not ever skipping a week, you could really accomplish a lot. And so, I'm glad that I kept that going. It had nothing to do with YouTube because I was doing it beforehand. I've kept it going, but by being able to now have a folder, have a playlist of it, you guys can go back and see that it it evolved over time, and you can do the same when it comes to your portfolio. It's the end of the show, and Marlene dropped out again. That Wi-Fi. Okay. So, Dr. Ninja, let us know if you plan on maybe converting, coming over to the other side with us over at Fidelity in order to have that more flexibility on building up your portfolio. So, Meta, Google, Amazon, Netflix. What are you doing with those investments over there? So, Rod is sharing, I keep the same foundational plan of being consistent, but about 30% of my weekly investment moves from turning into the reputable investments like you, Lisa. Great work so far. So 30% you kind of will rotate into what you want to build up on that particular week, and then the rest of it is those standard investments. That's how I'm taking this comment. Okay, well, I hope Marlene makes it back. But guys, thank you for tuning in. I am Lisa J. Stocks. I am here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell in case I do any extra pop-up lives like I did today. Subscribe to MarleneMotivates. From time to time, we do lives on her channel also. Okay. Here is Marlene, adding her back in. So, Marlene, those technical difficulties.
Yes.
I was just Solomon Project. Did you drop a question that we missed? Please let me know. A few. Okay, I'm sorry about that. We'll try this. Well, let me know. Drop them again if I'm able to answer them now. I will highlight that. Okay, let's see. Solomon Project. Data centers are crucial for the continual development of AI. That is the reason for focusing on electric. You keep an eye on Dominion ticker D. I have never looked at this energy company before. It must be an oldie. One letter ticker. Let's see. Oh yeah, that goes all the way back out to 1985. This company that he's mentioning.
I've never heard about it.
Yeah, those are the type of things I think I need to just stick to my ETFs on getting exposure to energy. As far as my individual stocks, I think you guys can tell from what I share that technology has been the thing that I have dabbled into, as well as like Amazon. That's the other. But other things, I just rely on my ETFs for exposure because I like to keep my portfolio a little concise, and I want to really build up my share sizes. So, okay, another comment from Solomon. Dollar cost averaging, drip, and options, my formula for success. Okay. Yeah, over the short term, it hasn't been doing well. I think, oh yeah, well, year to date, it's up 9%. I just don't have the capacity to be investing into, I keep it to the big names when it comes to my individual stocks. Okay. So Rod is sharing ETF that has this energy company that we mentioned in its top 10 holdings, and that's XLU. But yeah, whatever you want to have exposure to, whether it's semiconductors, healthcare, there are thousands of ETFs. It's just a matter of finding the right one, and that's exchange traded funds, baskets of stocks. So you don't have to pick individual stocks. You can have exposure to hundreds, even thousands in one investment choice. And whatever obstacle you may have related to investing, don't please drop me a comment if I have any way of helping you to get over that obstacle and any fear or apprehension that you have related to investing. Please let me know. So Marlene is still struggling with her Wi-Fi, but I'm gonna be wrapping it up for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for chatting, and I will see you soon. I will be back, I think, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time here, and I will be live for the Discord tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just when you get here, Sledge, that's all right, Sledge. You can come back tomorrow. So what is going on? Rod and Solomon are saying, I also prefer individual stocks. Okay. More responsibility, more research, more rebalancing, but you have to do what's right for you. There are some people I don't think have the level of responsibility to pick the individual stocks. But like I said, there are many that I definitely would not have gone wrong with. Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla even. And but I decided that I needed to just have some S&P 500 like my FXAIX instead of going to all of those individual stocks. I'm even more with keeping to it when it comes to my retirement accounts. Okay. So Solomon Project is saying that individual stocks, he had more exposure to them. They started to become more prevalent as he was about to leave the industry. All right, Marlene, I'm going to wrap up for today. Thank you for joining me. And like I said, guys, be on the lookout. Subscribe to Marlene Motivates and be on the lookout for updates. Hit that notification bell so that you will be alerted. You'll be able to keep up with our future live streams. So you want to close us out for today, Marlene?
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Do the best that you can. Cut corners where you can cut corners. Save and don't focus on the amount that you are trying to invest. Just invest.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Kim and Grace for coming through and chatting for a bit. Thank you to Rod for being a channel member. Thank you to Joe and all of the other channel members that were here today. Elevated. Again, thank you for the super chat, and I will see you guys soon.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
And to investments, she made a lot on YouTube. Lisa J Stocks. Lisa J Stocks, that's the channel. Hey. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks. Yeah. You will make a lot. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks. Okay. She'll make it pop. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks.